In this video, I'll show you how to solve the ALEKS problem called Naming Components of the Scientific Method. This problem is going to give you three situations that you've got to find the missing word, the description of a different component of the scientific method that kind of completes each one of these statements accurately. There are 5 components of the scientific method. I'm just going to define all of them, and that's really going to be what helps you solve this problem. So first of all, there is an observation. One of the steps of the scientific method. An observation is when we take a measurement, or it could be multiple measurements. And it looks like this situation right here is an observation. This particular scientist says that this person makes a measurement about the temperature and the location of the planet Mars. So I would refer to this, or I would describe this as an observation. Then also there is an experiment. And I think that that's probably pretty easy for you to identify. It's just sort of a setup of some kind of situation where you can take measurements. So something that you would do in the lab or in the field in order to collect data. We have a hypothesis. And a hypothesis is it's a guess. It's a guess typically about relationship or relationships between situations. It could also be an explanation. And I think that this situation up here is a hypothesis. This person says they suggest a hypothesis, I think, if I'm filling it in correctly, and then it's talking about they're explaining an explanation, the reason that something is happening. So I think that this is a hypothesis. And then last but not least, we've got a scientific law and also a scientific theory, and they are a little bit more difficult to distinguish from each other. I think that the easiest thing to look for when you're trying to distinguish between a scientific law versus a theory is that a law is usually a mathematical equation, usually an equation. So some type of numerical or symbolic relationship between variables. A theory is something that we would develop from multiple hypotheses. So this would be multiple hypotheses, kind of all coming together, but typically, like, the main difference between these two is this mathematical component in the law. So this situation, it says after studying for a long time, creates an equation. Ooh, keyword. Expresses an equation that can be used to predict the location of every planet. That, I believe, is going to be a scientific law.